Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, you'll notice the ES developing a multi-day narrow range, something we've been focusing on here since last week. This market, in addition to all the equity futures here in the broader market, focused on NVIDIA earnings after the close today. So we could have a day that's very similar to yesterday's trading, where we have mostly range-bound action, perhaps some movement at the edges of the range. Coming into the session here, we were looking for any tests at the previous session's high for a rotation back within the range, and perhaps even back toward the previous session's low. Any push down below the previous session's low could be an opportunity to push it back up, and we could be looking at a range bound session for the most part as price stays within the confines of this multi-day range. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of compression in the ES. You could make it 9, and you can see it qualifies as a 9 as well, but right here, 8 days of compression at just 33% of ADR and 103.75 total points of range. That's basically taking it from this low right there to the high on Monday's session. That right there is 103.75 points. Normally, with the current volatility, we'd be somewhere in the 280 zone, and if we're looking at a 125% move, that'd be in the 350 zone. So somewhere between 280 350 points of range could be ahead once we do get expansion. Now, are we going to finish this move out to the upper end of the previous range here, that high? Do we see this thing come up here and put in a new high before reversing back down? Do we break down outright and work our way back toward 5,400, for example? How is this going to play out? We'll see, especially with NVIDIA on deck. NVIDIA, Salesforce, CrowdStrike, all with earnings after the bell. So could be mostly range-bound price action here. Look to fade the edges of the previous day's range with short-term targets in view. If you take a look here at the NQ, similar price action here with regards to compression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of compression here for the NQ. We can make it a 9-day range here, and that'll give us a reading here of 34.5% of average range. So you're looking at this range here to here, super compressed, just 583 points of range, and normally you'd have somewhere above 1,500, and the 125% target would be just shy of 2,000. So we're looking at 1,500 to 1,900 points of range that could be seen ahead once we get expansion from this range. Do we see some sort of strong failed new low that leads us higher into, say, 20,900 or 20,100? Do we see a full-on breakdown that leads us back for a retest of the lows? That still remains to be seen, but we're going to continue to watch how price responds out of this range. Again, NVIDIA is going to be a big-time component of how this thing plays out. So whichever way NVIDIA goes, you likely see the NQ follow. For right now, keep an eye on the edges of the previous day's extremes. We could be looking at modest fades until proven otherwise. Now, looking at crude oil, this one's down about 1.5% here. It's had a big-time pullback since the 3-day squeeze. Huge couple of days to the downside here. A lot of overnight selling pressure here from the 76 highs back towards 74. We're seeing this thing bounce modestly off 74s right now and kind of stuck in the range at the moment. This thing is full of impulse moves right now. I mean, we've had this impulse drop and back, giving us a new key range. We've had this impulse rally and back, another key range, impulse drop and back, another key range, and an impulse rally and back. So you can just pick them. Which key range do you want to use? I'm still using this previous key range back here, which gives us some great levels to continue to work with, but any of these new ones is still in play. Right now, showing quite a bit of weakness here. Holding the 74s could lead to a little bit of a bounce today, but again, very, very bearish directionally speaking over the last couple of days, and bears could be looking to continue to defend into bounces until proven otherwise. Looking at gold futures here, a ton of weakness across the board, across all futures. Everything is down except for the dollar. The dollar is up, and that could put some pressures here on equities across the board, but everything down from crude oil to gold and equity markets, all of these, even metals down quite a bit here across the board, including platinum and silver down quite a bit, copper down quite a bit, gold here pulling back. And one thing about gold here recently is when it sees a heavy day of selling pressure, or perhaps a heavy couple of days of selling pressure, it tends to bounce back in big fashion. Quite a bit of resistance here at these highs. Outside day down right now and showing quite a bit of selling pressure. Bears looking to continue to defend into strength today as gold drops quite a bit more here, perhaps back toward the 2500 zone. Could be, you know, a 2-day target up ahead for this one, and if we do get into that zone, it could be a bounce right back up. You'll notice after big heavy days of selling pressure, this thing tends to bounce back quite a bit here. And so again, do we get a 1-day move? Do we get a 2 or 3-day move? Whatever that outcome becomes here, it could be a buy the dip for another rotation back toward highs. Right now, very clear downward trending price action as of right now. If we take a look here at the YM inside day right now, very compressed inside day. The previous session also compressed. This thing continues to hold off the 41.5 level. Big time resistance up here at the key range high. We could continue to see a bit more compression as the market awaits NVIDIA earnings. 41.4 has been resistance, 41.2 has been support, and we could watch for fades at those extremes as this market continues to trade within a relatively narrow range. Right now, just 82 points of range for the YM. Now, Bitcoin and Ethereum seeing quite a bit of selling pressure here overnight. Big time meltdown to 58,000 in Bitcoin. But what we're seeing right now is strength off the lows. Pretty strong reversal after hours yesterday. A retest at around 3 in the morning today at the 58.5 level also led to a little bit of a bounce, and we're holding off the lows of the overnight trade. That's a pretty significant tail event that's developing. If we can start to work our way through the 60,200 level, it opens up a bit more upside, perhaps toward a gap fill up above. This is a pretty decent intraday rejection developing. Pretty decent, and that could lead to the next short-term wave of strength to the upside, perhaps back towards 65K. This thing's been trending up in a little bit of a channeling behavior like this. So again, very strong low here. Can this thing start to push through 60,200 to open up a little bit more upside? Looking at Ethereum, very similar. Down hard in after hours trading yesterday, hit a low at about 2,400. It has since formed some higher lows off 2420 and 2430 and is pushing back up off those lows. That's a pretty significant strong low developing as well, similar to Bitcoin here, and that could be an opportunity for a short-term rotation back toward 2,800 up above over the next several days. So as long as price continues to maintain the integrity of this tail event. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.